All right, here we go, June 14th. So, a few things to talk about today. Lewis has a question for us about Google has some new stuff on the horizon, so I'm going to cover that. Also, want to welcome all of our new Apprentice members. We're getting that program up and going this week, so we've got, geez, I think maybe 1 or 2 slots left if anybody else wants to hop in on that. Congratulations, Michelle. You're awesome. You're going to get in there. And I do want to tell you guys, this year when we run the Apprentice program, it's going to be very different. Last year it was very lax, very like whatever, whatever you guys wanted to do. And this time I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm going to drive you forward in a very loving way, but we're actually going to get to the end of the rainbow this time. So anyway, it's not going to be a kickback ride. It's going to be a kick-ass ride. So anyway, glad and very happy for those of you that hopped in on that. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's get with Lewis here. Basically, his question was how I felt about the combination of organic and paid in Google search. And this is really not a new type of a concept. They've been playing and pushing this for some years now. They're adding more and more into the search results. And that's really what this is all about. It's just, a next step to that, kind of an evolving of that. I read the article. He's put an article link up in the chat box for any of you that want to read about it. And again, it's not really a big surprise. Google has done this, already several times. I think part of what this might allude to is they might be doing some sort of an advertorial as well. And that's some sort of a bigger, more featured listing with the advertisement hidden inside of it. I wouldn't be really shocked at all to see that come out in the near future as well. And as far as, I've seen Google come and, out of nowhere and take down a giant. And in my opinion, I personally think they're making the same mistake that the giant made that allowed them to sweep him off his feet. And that is too much input. In the beginning when the internet came out, everyone was really prone to privacy and not being manipulated. And I think that's coming back around. Things come back in and out of style. And with all the stuff about privacy and, protecting your rights and all that stuff, that is circling back around to become back in style now. So the fact that Google is using more and more data to manipulate the results and effectively show us what we want to see, which, yeah, it does add up to a good user experience, but people don't like to be manipulated. They really like to get what they want and not have other things get in the way. And that's exactly what Yahoo did. Yahoo, at one point in the game, Yahoo was a giant. They literally controlled the marketplace. They had, I think at one point they had like a 90% market share on search. They were unstoppable. People were saying there's nothing that could take these guys down. And then this, and what they did because of that, they started adding in manipulation to the search results. And yeah, Gregor, that was the mid-90s was when that was going on, early to mid-90s. And, they started creating all these portals. So when you ran a search for automotive part, they automatically swept you into their automotive portal without you saying you wanted that. You might have just been on there hunting for a search result for a part for your car, and now all of a sudden you're in their automotive section, which is completely different, and there's not any correlation back to regular search, which you might have been looking for. and people were kind of not liking that. You know, they weren't liking that manipulation. And what came along next was Google with simple search. And all it was a white box with a search, or a white page rather, with a search box in the middle. No frills, no fancy, just search and we'll give you what you want. And that literally, that concept of giving people what they want, I mean, if you relate that back to ACT, that's a perfect example of ACT, figuring out what your market actually wants and giving it to them. Now, you know, some years later, what, we're 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, Google is making the same mistake that Yahoo made. That one mistake allowed Google to come in and literally sweep Yahoo off their feet. So, you know, I've said that many times over the last few years that I think that the waters are set for that to possibly happen again. I don't know who's going to do it, but if somebody came in and used that trick against them, I think the most likely candidate is Bing, myself personally. I mean, if I were to be a consultant in the offices of Bing, that's exactly what I would recommend. Go back to simple search, give the users what they want, and knock Google on its ass. You know, and you know, there's people right now that say that's not possible, but there was people in the 90s that said it wasn't possible for Yahoo either. And I'm here to tell you it is possible. All things are possible. And if you think things can't happen, they often do. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Where it's going to go, I don't really know with Google. I know they're always shifting. You know, they're always shifting gears. They're always trying new stuff. Whether it sticks or not, you know, who knows. They're already doing this, though. They have been doing what they're talking about in this article for quite some time. They've combined the maps, they've combined videos, they've combined the what we refer to as position 0, which is the answers box. All of that stuff is a combination of organic things, and in a lot of cases it is through ads. You know, I don't know if you've realized this or not, but Google will favor YouTube videos that are actually running their ads. It's a way for them to hide the ads without actually showing, hey, there's an ad here when you click on this link. That was a big lawsuit that Google had, was over being deceitful, you know, not exposing what's an ad and what's not. They used to have the ads blended in, and they had some lawsuit. They had some legal issues over that because it was deceitful. And now they have to say, you know, they have to put ad right on it. They have to distinguish that, you know, this is an ad versus an organic listing. So, you know, they had to have full transparency. So, you know, this is probably just another way for them to, you know, try and get the ads back in and feature them. So nothing to worry about. I don't know if this will, you know, come and go and stick. I would not be surprised, though, like I said, to see them do some sort of an advertorial thing. A lot of magazines do that. They will sell editorial space, and then the ad is inside the editorial. They call that advertorial. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see Google slide that in somehow. But, you know, they've got maps, videos, the position 0. They're already, you know, doing a lot of the stuff that Yahoo did back in the 90s that, you know, later Yahoo found out the consumers didn't like that. And they spoke up when they voted for Google and literally knocked Yahoo on their butt. So something to think about. Another thing while we're here, before we shift gears, I wanted to talk a little bit about another SEO related factor. And this is not just SEO, this is all marketing in general for websites. You know, when you create a website, the goal of the website, you know, for most everybody is to get traffic to it. that's really the wrong goal. You know, traffic is great, but that's not really your goal. Your goal is to create something that converts prospects or generates leads, converts those leads and prospects into customers. That really should be the goal of your website. And again, the only way you're going to do that is to create content that your audience actually cares about. So Google loves that. Google's algorithms, their RankBrain algorithm, it is made to look for that. You know, it's made to look for what is a good user experience. What does your audience like? And they want to reward sites that deliver that. So one of the things that's been really, really effective lately, for a while, is figuring that out using products like BuzzSumo to tell you what is viral in your, in your niche. What do people like to see? What are they consuming? And not only text, but what videos are they looking at? What infographics are they consuming? You know, figure that stuff out. It'll give you a real good idea of what your audience wants. Another thing that keys in with Google's algorithm also, and there's some people that have speculated they're actually backing part of their algorithm on Wikipedia. Now, I don't know that that's true, but in looking at the argument, I can see how they would think that. Because if you look at Wikipedia, Wikipedia has all the related type of words. When you go into Wikipedia, if you look at like what is on a particular page for a search result in Wikipedia, you will see highly relevant content. You'll see links out to other related things. And if you follow that, Google absolutely loves that pattern. So if you see an article on Wikipedia about what you're offering, and you take a real close look at that content and what it links to, if you replicate that within your website, Google is going to love it. Your consumers are going to love it too. You know, that's what they're interested in. Wikipedia has done a really, really good job at figuring out, information that is very highly useful to people and how it links it all together. So that's a couple of really good tools to use as far as, like an X-ray vision. If you're setting up a marketing campaign and you're starting and you're kind of early on and you don't really know what your audience wants or what's highly important to them, I would recommend, using some of these kind of tools. Use BuzzSumo to see what's going viral, what's popular. Use Wikipedia. See what's being said and how it's being said about any particular things. Now, you may not find your exact product name or your unique mechanisms or anything like that in Wikipedia because it probably hasn't caught on to that yet. But generally, whatever it is that's down below that, the real true thing that you're offering, they are going to know about that. And you will see all the related items that's related to that. In the SEO world, that's often called SL or LSI, Latent Semantic Indexing. And all that means is it's just related words that all tie to the same subject matter. And that's a way to allude to what is something. Like if you're talking about baseball, you could say something like, you could be talking about the stadium. Now, the stadium itself is not necessarily related to baseball. That could be a football stadium. That could be any kind of sports arena could be referred to as a stadium. But in LSI, when you're talking about the stadium and all of a sudden you bring in another LSI word like bat, ball, glove, third base, infield, outfield, now all of a sudden stadium takes on a very specific meaning. And that's what LSI is all about. It's about adding the words around the one word to make sure that people understand what you're talking about. It's very specific now. It's very related. So that's another thing you will find by using Wikipedia. You'll find what are the LSI words that are really important to Google to identify what your topic is really about. All that stuff will help you rank. That will help you get traffic. But again, keep in mind, traffic is the end game. Yeah, you all want traffic, but traffic really isn't what you want. You want to convert the customers. You want to convert prospects into customers. You take those prospects and the leads, take a lead, turn it into a prospect, turn the prospect into a customer, turn the customer into a repeat customer and a lifelong customer. That's what you really want. That should be the goal of, basically in business, that should be the goal of everything you do. From the time you wake up in the morning till the time you lay your head down at night. That should be your concern, is how am I going to generate leads, turn those leads into prospects, create that demand and desire, and convert them into paying customers. That's really what it's all about. Now, traffic is just going to increase that. I always say traffic is a magnifier. It's nothing more than a magnifier. And if you've got problems in your systems, it's going to magnify that. If you have a good system that actually does generate leads and turn those leads into prospects and into customers, then traffic's going to magnify that. So you want to make sure you get the first part right before you bring the second part in, because you don't want to magnify problems. And that really is all that traffic does. It just magnifies whatever's there. So, it's not like the good old days 20, 30 years ago when, it was so easy. You could get so much traffic, it didn't matter. It was just like, throwing crap to the wall to see what will stick. That doesn't work anymore because of the cost of the traffic. For you to get enough traffic for just junk offers to convert, that would cost you a fortune these days. It's not like it was, 20 years ago when you could do some black hat SEO and you could drive a gazillion people onto a site and 1 in a million would buy, and that was okay. You still made money. That metric doesn't exist anymore. That is gone. It's long gone. So today, for you to be successful online, you've got to be smarter than you've ever been. You've got to be better than the next guy. The playing field has really been leveled here. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing for us because, a lot of us are on the smaller end of the field. So when it levels the playing field, that means we can have the same advantages of major companies with huge, deep pockets. We can actually compete against them because the playing field's been leveled. So that's a great thing. Anyway, I just want to get that stuff out in the beginning here, and then I want to open this up. If anybody's got questions or anything, go ahead, just wave your hand, put it in the chat box, or unmute and come on out. Let's see, I had something else here. Yeah.
Hey, John, it's Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Let me see if I can put my camera on here. There we go.
There you are.
Hi, how are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited about working with you. Okay, so Sue and I were doing some brainstorming the other day about what exactly the pain, how to get that initial hook. And one of the things that I've been using a lot when I do my presentations is I talk about how I actually had a vision, a dream. It was like I was in the ocean and I was drowning, and then there was a storm going on. It was night, and I heard a voice in the distance yelling, "Grab hold!" And I look over and could barely make out the shape of a boat, a man in a boat, and he's throwing me something, and then splash right in front of me, this life preserver. And then I was like, hallelujah, I'm going to be saved. And then I went to reach for the life preserver, but I had been treading water, just barely keeping my head, just surviving for so long that I had like no strength left in me to even get my arm up out of the water. It felt like it was weighted with lead. And so I tried again and again to no avail. I'm like, oh no, here he is, this life, this lifeline's right in front of me, and I don't have nothing left to even grab hold. So I knew I was going down. And so I say, I pause and I go, when I woke up from that dream, and everybody's like, you're gasping, like, oh, thank you, it was a dream. And so I've been presenting and starting my whole presentation with this story. And then I look at them straight in the eye and I say, have you ever felt this way in your business, that you're drowning, barely keeping your head above the water? And everybody just goes, oh. So
yeah, we've all felt it.
What's that?
We've all felt that.
Yeah, so my question to you is, so we're watching the belly fat video, and we're watching everything that like Russell does on his site, Russell Brunson, as far as like getting that pain point across, but actually really letting something resonate and hopefully hook them to want to learn more or go watch a demo or something. But our feeling is Revealio is all about like happy and joy and like allowing business owners to step up and out of that sea of competition so they're not drowning. But when they first get to our site, if we portray that as the pain point in that story, it seems kind of like dun dun dun, dark.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's the second step. For me, I think that's the second step for you to really bring it to life, bring that pain to life.
Uh-huh.
But the first thing you got to do is you got to hook them in with what they want.
Okay.
That
I could do that. So hook them and then go to the story about the pain.
Yeah. You've just got them a little bit out of sequence there.
That's okay. I just wanted to talk to you about that because we really felt like it does resonate, and it does kind of bring home the point of why what we're doing is so significant, and it's going to bring so much elation and joy and awesomeness into the world.
So what it is, and by the way, I've heard that story from you live. I was there when you did that. I think might have been the first time, and it was. Yeah, it's an awesome story. It's like, it really does. I mean, it like tears your heart out of your soul when you hear it. So again, it's like you could have great pieces, and if you get them out of sequence, they don't work. So you just have to make sure that where you plug that into your marketing campaign, it's in the right spot. And it's like, if you've been through any NLP trainings, they teach you how to set anchors so you can pull emotions back anytime you want. But very important, when and where and how you set those anchors. Everything's got to be in the right sequence for it to play out. It's like you're the conductor in an orchestra. And you've got all these things going on, and you can pull each one whenever you want. And that's how an orchestra makes beautiful music. That's like with the whole Elvis thing. And I created that whole Elvis shift. I related the music to being his message, and that relates to business owners. Their message is their marketing message. And I say when Elvis was singing the wrong song, he was sending the wrong message, and nothing worked for him. And I talk about him being a truck driver and making a few bucks a week, and his life was basically swirling down the tubes. And then he got the right message, and they can relate that. So you have to make sure that your story relates to them in some way. The story, you can have a great story, but if it's told out of context, it's just a great story.
Yeah, well, we were thinking of kind of carrying the whole like nautical theme, like video marketing is that vessel that gets you up and out of that sea of competition so you're not drowning, and then augmented reality being the jet engines that you can put on that boat so that you're like propelling your business so forward so fast.
There you go.
Like the hair's blowing in your, the wind's blowing in your hair, and cheeks are flapping in the wind, and you're just like holding on going, woo-hoo! Ah! Woo!
Yeah.
This is awesome. So
that's cool, but you just have to piece it all together so it flows. Yes. So we can take somebody like from the first step and then take them through, and then when the time is right, then we're going to give them that story. Okay, so you like us to, because Sue was saying we should create some sort of a visual with my audios, a visual of photos and stuff like they did with the whole belly fat video. Yeah,
kind of
any,
bring the story home a little bit.
exactly. Anytime you're telling a story or, you know, creating a video or whatever, visuals are very important. You know, words are one thing, but when you mix words with visuals, it just really solidifies things. So you can really hammer a point home.
Okay, good. All right. So we have to create that. We just wanted to run that by you. Thank you.
Yeah, whenever I do a PowerPoint presentation or you know, sometimes I'll do a voiceover. I'll write my script out and then I'll do the voiceover, and then as I'm putting it in, like I'll lay the voiceover in Camtasia, and a lot of times I don't want to be on the video. You know, I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't believe that, you know, anybody wants to just watch me, you know, deliver a presentation. They want to see pretty pictures and, you know, tie stuff together.
It's a combination, John.
Yeah. So anytime, you know, I get to a point where I can pull a visual in or pull a, you know, an audio in, like in the Elvis presentation, I actually got an audio clip of Elvis himself stating something that I've said.
Oh.
And it's awesome. I mean, it's him saying that if his market changed, he would be a fool not to change with it. I mean, it's like, I got the king himself saying what I'm saying. It doesn't get any better than that. So that's like claim proof benefit. You know, there's nothing better for a proof point than have the king of rock and roll back me up. You know, then it's not just my opinion. Hey, if he said it, you know, he's the king. Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. You know, specifically for you too, and I'll get into this more when we do our initial call. But one of the big things that I've seen as a problem for you is the fact that normal people are not gonna get the same effect of when you show this. You know, like you show it, but then they pull their phone out and it's not on there already, and they get this big letdown. And I think that's going to be like one of your biggest objections from the business owners. Mm-hmm. And I think I found a way around it.
Okay. Well, I'm also trying to get business owners to see that they're the ones who should be demonstrating it, you know, so that they get that impact and that influence. And then I'm seeing about 40% of people having no problem. They get so excited when they see it. They want to experience it. They just open their phone. In fact, sometimes they even have it downloaded before I actually can show them in another example. They're so excited.
Yeah. So I've got a cool way that you can actually create a marketing campaign that will make that happen.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that.
That's going to help set the base for you.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah, and it also will create a new product that you could actually sell more product to the business owners.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that after we talked the other day, and you know, and pieces just started falling together, and I'm like, all right, I got something good for her now.
The wheels are turning. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you. All right, well, that was my question. I just want to ask that. So
cool.
We'll keep moving forward on that creation of that little video. So.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Okay, who else? Who's got a question or comment for us here? Cheryl, did you get landed in Florida? Are you on your feet yet?
Am I going to Florida?
Oh, I was actually talking.
Am I going to Florida?
I was talking to the other Cheryl.
Oh, the wrong Cheryl. Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Cheryl Hensel there.
I'm in Florida, and I think I have a good connection.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
Are you getting my, I sent an email and I called you the other day. Are you getting any of that stuff?
I don't think I got a call from you.
Okay.
Well, let me see.
Yeah, I called you.
My phone is kind of old and worn out, and it's doing weird stuff. Yeah, my voicemail's not even not even going to the voicemail. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure. It might be stuck in there.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up the call time, so maybe we can talk a few minutes after it's done.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got the classes going for the CE program, and I just got to talk to you about a couple things, and then I had some questions about the apprenticeship program.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll be around for a bit afterwards.
Okie doke. Thank you.
All right, no problem. So back to the other Cheryl. Yeah, I know you're in Marina Del Rey, right? Not in Florida.
That is true.
All right, cool.
Floating on the water.
Yeah. What kind of boat was that you said?
It's a large 60-foot sedan type power boat.
Okay. That's what I'm actually in the market for. I've been hunting around. Yeah, I've been going to all the boat shows, and I think I've pretty well found the one I want down in Newport, and I'm in the process of negotiating right now. So if it pans out, I'm going to be moving it.
You're going to pay a little bit more today than you would have if you'd done this 2 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And just keep in mind that there's like 60 million boats on the market. They're eager to sell theirs.
Yep, I know. That's a great thing.
A lot of competition, and that's to your benefit.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about going to Florida, and because they've got a lot more of the bigger boats there, and a lot more competition that is in our benefit too.
But then you have to ship it around the country. That's what it costs you.
Yeah, or you could have the fun of driving it through the canal.
That's my point. You're going to have to ship it one way or the other.
Yeah.
By yourself or by somebody else. But you're right. That would be a fun trip if you have the time.
Yeah.
But what about us? You need to be here for us every week.
Oh, I will definitely be there for you. I just need satellite connection.
I'm sure that works really well in Panama. For the middle of the Gulf.
Oh, satellite should work.
Yeah, $18 a minute too, right?
Oh, yeah, that could be. Oh, well, we'll figure it out one way or another.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Panama
see.
has great service. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, Greg says Panama has great service.
Yeah, the middle of the Gulf probably is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that, and they said they've come a long way in the whole satellite systems for boats. So I'm going to have to definitely look into that if I do any of that kind of traveling.
What boat are you looking at?
I'm looking at a Horizon as the builder. That's the
Is it by you're looking at power or sail?
Power. Yeah, it's more. I really like sport fishers, but I want a boat that I can do more seminar stuff on. You know, take like half a dozen to a dozen people out and, you know, spend the day and do like little private mastermind groups and stuff like that, and have a fishing cockpit for me to do my fishing in the back.
You need a big salon.
Yeah, exactly. And the Horizon has that.
Yeah, I have a big salon. I actually sat probably 10 people for my retirement party.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
So which one did you settle on?
The Horizon 82.
82. And
Yeah.
how big is it?
82 feet.
You're getting an 82-foot boat?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a fortune every year. Don't forget you got bottom cleaning, top cleaning, property taxes, you know, slip fee, mortgage payment. Come on.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm in for.
$5,000 to $7,000 a month.
Yeah, I know what I'm in for. I've had boats my whole life, and
oh dear.
The last
wow, I'm impressed. I definitely want to come aboard and see your boat though when you get it.
The last one I had was a 65-footer.
Wow.
And that was
82 feet. Where are you going to park that thing?
I actually just put a deposit down on a slip in Long Beach.
Long Beach, oh.
Because it's about a third the price of Newport.
Yeah. I love Long Beach too. It's got that great big bay that you can sail around on or put around on without having to go into the ocean. Great
Yeah.
place.
It's a lot closer to Catalina.
Yeah, that's
And you're closer to Catalina,
cool. Yeah, I get good service at Catalina.
yeah, you do.
So John,
Yeah, go ahead, Gregory.
I'm gonna put my 2 cents into this. If you get the boat in Florida,
Okay.
I will join you in Florida and come with you back to LA.
All right. Well, I might take you up on that.
You got your first mate.
That's going to be a long ride.
I did a 6-day journey in Puerto Rico. Yes, it was a long ride, but yours would be a lot more fun than one in Puerto Rico. We went through storms on the first 2 days. I was seasick I was ready to bail out. But in the end, a good journey. And my father-in-law gave me a one of those the sailing wheel.
Okay. Yeah.
And an anchor going through it. And he gave me that. I earned my anchor. 6 days on a 30-footer.
Yeah, usually I'm used to the West Coast. We go down the coast, down to Cabo and into Mexico and all that. I remember one time we were at a place called Alejos Rocks, it's on the Tropic of Cancer, which is about level with Cabo, but it's a couple hundred miles offshore. And everything was beautiful. The whole trip was like fishing in an aquarium. And the minute we went to pull anchor to head home, the wind started howling. And this was a friend of mine's boat. It was a 110-foot boat. We took whitewater over the top for 2.5 days. It was gnarly. So not a fun ride. But I don't think I'd be doing that again. I think I'm at the point in life where I might seek a little shelter and ride that out.
Have you thought about buying your boat in Ensenada instead so that you don't have to pay the sales tax? Because you don't know how much sales tax you're going to have to pay on an 82-foot boat.
Well, actually, I'm getting one in an LLC. That was one of my criteria. It's got to be in an LLC. So with that, you basically you buy the business, you buy the LLC, and the boat is part of it.
Oh.
So that's how you avoid sales tax in a boat.
And it becomes a business because you'll be holding the seminars on board.
Oh, I plan on it for sure. That's definitely part of the plan. And that's going to be our toy for all of our apprentice members. We're going to go celebrate every time we get a success. It'll be celebrated on the boat. So cool stuff.
By chance, are you available tomorrow to talk? Because I got your email and I'm going through some things in my head. I'm debating, I'm going through this again. I'm going through this freaking dilemma of too many things in the fire. They all look good, and I made up a general plan, and I need to talk to you about it before I commit myself to you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm pretty well open tomorrow. Just
Okay, I'll
email or text, and we'll set a time.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, Russ. Looks like you got something for us there.
Yes, I got your email this morning about my article that I wrote.
Yeah, it had a few holes from a marketing standpoint, for sure.
Well, I'm not a marketing writer, so.
Yeah. Not to say the content wasn't good. Not to say that you're a bad writer. That's not what I'm saying. But from a marketing standpoint, you've got to give people a reason to read something. Like the headline for it has to really grab them. You've got to have that attention-grabbing headline. That's really important. And then you've got to give them a reason why they're reading it. Like you went right into a story that it was a good story. It was like Michelle's, you know, she has a great story, but it's just, if you put it up front, it's out of sequence. So stories and all of that stuff, when you're creating metaphors and stories and things, they should be engineered for a purpose in your timeline, in your sequence of your marketing. So if you're trying to get somebody interested in your product, you've got to grab their attention and make them, really, you've got to make them interested right from the beginning. Then they start consuming your content. And one of the most important things right up front is you got to tell them what they're going to get out of reading this. You know, it's like when you see any good webinar or good video, they'll tell you right up front why you need to stay till the end, or why you need to pay attention, because you're going to get this out of it. And the best thing you can do in that case is to tie it to a desired outcome. Like, for instance, if you're targeting like mothers that want to protect their children and they love the outdoors and they're very outdoorsy, and they don't even think that they're putting their child in danger, but they have an outdoor lifestyle, you might want to throw a headline out there that's a shocker, like, you're putting your child in danger and you don't even know it. And they're going to be like, what? That's going to get them to bite in and see, what am I doing that's putting my child in danger? And then you can draw into a story about, you know, the the shark in the water and nobody's paying attention to it, and your whole point there is that there's a danger underlying that you're not aware of, and you're not acknowledging it until it's too late. But you've got to engineer that into the story. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
You know, the whole thing with the shark and the fact that there's a danger that no one's paying attention to until it's too late, that's a great story. That's a great metaphor, but you just have to engineer it in. You got to draw them in, and then they'll make the connection and go, oh my God, I got to have this umbrella.
So I guess I'm struggling on the hook and the headline and the title, and I always thought you said that the headline and title should be something SEO related with your keywords that you're trying to attract.
If you can get them in, yes, but at this point, SEO really is about engagement. So whatever it takes to get them to engage, that's going to be more important. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, if you can slide keywords in, that's great, but the days of everything being keyword stuffed and keyword related, it's more important now to get the engagement.
So how would they find it if it's not keyword related?
And then you can type. Well, you can optimize things, you know, with links and other things. Does it make sense at all to? You know, the more you can get your keywords in, the better off you'll be. But the engagement is the big thing. So that's where, like, the big idea comes in. Big idea is a combination of their desired outcome, the unique mechanism that's going to get them that desired outcome, in some sort of an intrigue in a way they've never heard it before. And in some cases, like in your case, I think you want to use shock factor. And your big idea might be shock factor. And your big idea might be as simple as you're putting your child at risk and you don't even know it. You know, that might be your whole angle right there. Because that's going to grab the attention of a mother. If a mother, her whole purpose in life is to protect her child. You know, that's her sole thing, you know, for the most part, at the core. So if you make a statement like, you know, there's something that you're doing in your lifestyle that is endangering your child, and you're not even aware of it. You know, it will get you, but it'll be too late. You know, something along those lines. That's going to be, you know, really important.
All right. Okay.
Can I throw an idea in?
Yeah. Gwen, I mean, here's a perfect example. She's a mom. She's got a little girl, and I'm pretty sure that
Little girl.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that resonates. And they've got the outdoor lifestyle. They ride horses and all that stuff. So here, I'm gonna let her take it. This is your gal here.
Well, basically, he's talking about like the fear factor idea. And I don't know your feel of like sunscreens, but a lot of my mom's groups are popping up where babies are having a major reaction to the sunscreens. And so a lot of moms are looking for clothes or alternatives to sunscreen. And I don't know if that's an angle you'd want to take, but there has been numerous burned babies from just the chemicals in the sunscreens. So a lot of moms are looking for a more natural way to protect. So that's just another angle that I was thinking of as John was talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we thought about that. There are a lot of people that don't want to put chemicals on a little baby, which we didn't. It made sense. We put the baby on the blanket with no sunscreen and laid there and slept all day and never got any sunburn. So,
well, that's awesome. Mine turns pink. We've got long sleeves, we've got the hat, we've got the UV swimsuit, everything that way.
All right.
But then she's hot. So it's like, what's the alternative? And it sounds like your umbrella might be a good alternative for like the beach type of setup, but it would have to be, you have to set the, what makes it work? Why would we want that product?
Right.
Yeah, that's a great angle. That's another fear angle that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, Ted says in Hawaii they're banning some sunscreens. Your umbrella might do really well there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of places now that are starting to ban. The whole thing about chemicals is really, that's a really powerful topic. And that's something you might want to look at BuzzSumo. Look at BuzzSumo and see what kind of articles are popular and trending and kind of lean on that, leverage that buzz in the marketplace to kind of come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
But yeah, I love that idea that Gwen threw out about an alternative. That could be, a big idea, like just that whole thing of, the ultimate alternative to sunscreen, to protect your child and continue not affect your outdoor way of life. How to not affect your outdoor way of life or lifestyle, with a new alternative to sunscreen.
How do I find someone that's able to write this type of content?
Basically, this is what copywriters do. They're typically very expensive, and they're only as good as the information you give them. That's why most people don't have luck with copywriters. They don't give them enough information, and they leave them to their own devices. That's the whole thing that is the ACT program's built around that. If you pull out all the key points in the ACT program in your analysis and you hand that to a copywriter, then they can do a good job for you. But like I said, most copywriters, if they're good, they're going to be fairly expensive. There are some programs out there that, they've got templates that are based on really good, productive, effective copy. But again, you've still got to put the pieces in. You've still got to pull out all the buying triggers, all of the things that are important, the desired outcome. There really is no shortcut to that. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There is no easy button. There really isn't. Unless somebody is in your market and they've done something that's just killing it and you just go copy them. That's the easy button. That's probably not the best idea, but
right.
That's the closest thing to an easy button, really, that that does exist with this. But yeah, Ted says ACT is the easy button. It's not. ACT is not an easy button, but it is a formula for getting it right. Which, if that's, you know, and that is easy. That is the easy button. He's right in that fact.
Okay. I don't want to take up the whole call, but at the end, you kind of talked about the Apprentice Program. Like, I guess maybe we could schedule time tomorrow or when you're available to see how that would help me. And, you know.
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. We can do that. I'm fairly open tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I'll shoot you an email. So the earlier tomorrow, the better for me, because I was going to take a half day tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I can probably get in here and start at it probably about 8. That's
okay.
That's about as good as you can expect out of me.
That's true. All right. I'll talk to you then, John.
Before 8, I'm still deep in an exam of the back of my eyelids.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Thank you, John.
All right. My pleasure.
John,
Yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
am I hearing that if we write something, we can send it to you and you'll look at it and let us know if give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you guys are running ads or you're creating stuff, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it for you. And that's really what this call is for. It's for group assistance on whatever you need. So I'm happy to do that. The difference between that and the Apprentice Program is when you send it to me, I will actually rewrite it for you. I'll actually be your copywriter, and I don't write it from scratch, but if you give me the nuts and bolts of it, then I'll go through and and rewrite it and make sure that it's good to go. And same thing with your hooks and your headlines and all of that stuff. And the other thing too that I've offered in this round of the Apprentice Program is, if any of you want to get onto Kartra, I am very, very familiar with Kartra at this point, because I've spent the last 2 months literally up to my eyeballs in it, and I know pretty much everything there is to know about it now, and I'm very fluent with it. So I can actually, help you set that up.
Program?
Pardon me?
Didn't you say that you were offering some kind of training?
Yeah.
I thought I saw an email or something that I didn't look at yet, but
yeah,
doesn't it offer some kind of Kartra training?
Yeah, I am offering Kartra training to all of you guys that are in the ACT program. We're going to do a handful of calls on it, and then depending on how popular it is, I'll continue it as long as it's providing benefit for you guys. We did the first one on Tuesday, I believe it was, and it was just kind of an intro. I logged into Kartra and I went through all the tabs and just kind of gave an overview of it. And then we're going to do another one. I was going to try and set one for tomorrow, but it looks like I've got a lot of people that want to talk privately about the Apprentice Program. There are like a lot of people on the fence right now, and I've only got a couple of slots left open for it, because with the Apprentice Program, I'm only taking 10 people into it because of the amount of time it's going to take me personally to work with everybody. So that's why I've limited it to 10. If I take more than that, I won't be able to do a good job for everybody. So that's why I won't be doing one tomorrow, but probably early next week I'll do another Kartra training. And for any of you that have Kartra, if you're stuck, if you've got in and played around with it and there's something you can't figure out or whatever, I'm happy to do it on the call with you and show you how to do it or whatever. But on the Apprentice thing, I'll actually get in there and help you set it up and make sure everything's configured right and actually get a marketing campaign up and running and flowing and all that stuff. So Ted says, so we shouldn't try and get people into ACT. Yeah, no, Ted, that is not correct. we want a lot of people in ACT. It's just the ACT apprentice. I can only work with so many at a time personally on that level. But the ACT program itself, that program is all automated. We do the weekly call that your guys are on here, and we can take we can take as many as we want into here. If we get more people than I can handle on a 1 hour call, then I'll just add more calls, or make the call longer. I just want, this call really is to make sure that everyone that's in here gets the help they need every week and gets it in front of the group, so the group gets the benefit out of it. So that's why I've made this program here so affordable, so no one gets left out, nobody gets left behind. But there's a lot of people that want to work with me on a much more higher and intensive level, and that's the ACT Apprentice program. So anyway, other questions before we wrap up for today? Oh, Cheryl, I didn't get that. You were muted.
Trying to get myself unmuted. There we go. What's the email address I can send my write-up to?
Oh, you can send it to me. The one that you get every week, that's my email address, john@internetdominators.com.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not one of these crazy nuts that's got 50 different email addresses. It's just one. That's it. That's me. So yeah, send it, and just like Russ did, he sent it. It took me a few days to get to it because I had some clients in town and was kind of tied up the last few days. But yeah, do send it. I'll take a look at it, and then we discuss it on the call. And really, the purpose for that is it helps everyone else too. When I go through yours and help you, it helps everybody on the call. There's a lot of people that get on this call that haven't really started yet. They don't, some of them are in a position where they're not sure quite what they want to do yet, or what they want to sell, or, some of us just haven't figured out what we want to be when we grow up. and it actually helps, it helps those people to see this process go through. So it's all good stuff. So I got a question for you. How often does that boat leave the slip?
Not too often.
Really? Yeah. I know for a long time, I had a 32-footer in Huntington Harbor, and the dock master, he said my boat was out of the slip more than all the other boats combined.
Yeah, put together.
Yeah. He said it was out of the slip more than it was in it.
But when you have that 82-foot boat and you have to drive, can you drive an 82-foot boat?
Oh, yeah.
You personally? You can? Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
My roommate will not take the boat out without a captain on board, because even this size is too big to.
Yeah.
So if you could drive an 82-foot, I'm impressed.
On the 65-footer, there was only 2 days when I actually had a captain run it, and it was just because I was entertaining, and I couldn't deal with entertaining and running the boat. But other than that, I seem to do pretty well with those.
Wow, I'm
I
impressed.
grew up with them though, so I mean, since I was walking, I was driving boats before I was driving cars.
Wow.
So
to me, 82, that sounds like a Navy ship, like trying to drive a Navy.
It's pretty good size, yeah.
My boat would be your dinghy.
I remember the first time I got on the 65-footer, it was on a mooring, and the guy at the yacht club took me out to it, and I asked him if there was room at the dock for me to come over and wash it down, and he said, yeah. He goes, who's going to drive it? I said, well, I am. And he says, have you ever driven this before? And I'm like, nope, first time. And he was like, okay, we'll have some help there for you. And they were all shocked when I just pulled it right up, stopped it, and nobody had to even touch it. They just tied it up.
Awesome.
So, So yeah, I'm definitely not a stranger to boating. So, all right. Well, that
Have us all on board when you get your 82 foot. Are you going to use it as your home and your office?
absolutely. Well, it won't be my home, but it might be my part-time office, and for sure we're going to do a lot more masterminds on the boat.
I'd drive down to Long Beach for that.
Absolutely, man. There's people that would get on a plane and come for that. Well, very cool. So, all right, last chance here. If anybody wants to hop out for one last question before I wrap up, or do it. All right, guys. Well, let's have a great week. Again, congratulations to everybody that's already hopped into the Apprentice. And if anybody wants to talk more about that, I am open tomorrow. I can answer any questions and get you all set up. So, all right, guys, have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.